What's up, y'all? I'm out here on the range, as you can see back behind me, on another cold day. Breeze has done picked up and the temperature feels like it's dropping already. I think we got a little bit above freezing right now, but it probably ain't gonna last long because we got a bunch of clouds moving in. But I've got at least a couple more things I want to get done before it freezes me out of here. And this one right here is one that several people's been wanting to check out. It's some Norma MHP 10 mil. So the jelly contraption's toughing it out with a couple of chronos and 2 blocks of gel. Now I've done one test already in this, so that backside's got a couple of tracks. As you can see, it didn't act up too bad and go into the other block or get crazy up here, so I got plenty of room to get this one done. As usual, I'm using a heavy clothing barrier that's got the layer of denim, fleece, and 2 layers of cotton t-shirt. And again, what we're looking at here is some Norma MHP, their Monolithic Hollow Point in 10 mil this time, 155 grain. Now I've tested this in 2 or 3 different calibers. I know I've tested 9, 380, I think 45. These don't do a terrible job, but they do probably what you would expect them to do. They're a big expanding copper round, so they get massive expansion when they do expand, and the penetration suffers because of it. Now, the reason I say when they do expand, because just about every test I've done with these, they're very, very inconsistent. They've tumbled a lot of the times, or almost every time, so that gives them, you know, just really lopsided, uneven expansion. Sometimes only one pedal will peel back, so really, really inconsistent what I've gotten from the other calibers. Now that being said, if I was going to guess with this 10 mil, it's probably got the velocity it needs to keep this round stabilized. It's probably going to get some really nice massive expansion, but again, I expect the penetration to suffer because of that. So 155 grain, they're claiming 1,308 feet per second here on the box, which would give you 589 foot-pounds. Already, y'all know the deal with me. It's weak for what I want for 10 mil. Here's your cartridge here. You got a brass case, no plating on the case, solid copper projectile with the plating on it. And of course, I've got a couple of Glocks here to test them out through. We got the Glock 20 Gen 4 with the 4.6 inch barrel on it, and then I've got my Glock 29 Gen 4 with the roughly 3.8 inch barrel. I have changed the sights on this thing already, got rid of them old plastic Glock sights. I got a set of True Glows just like I've got on this 20. So even though I already know this isn't going to live up to my expectations for 10 mil performance, it should be pretty interesting. Again, a lot of people are looking to see this one just because of right now there's a super good deal on these things. So let's get this stuff set up and let's find out what they can do. All right, let's see how fast these fancy boys are rolling on out, y'all. I'm gonna do a 5-round average from each barrel length, starting with this G29 first. Now, those y'all who are not familiar with this lab radar, you're gonna see multiple velocity readings. The large number is gonna be at the muzzle. You'll have 5 across the bottom, one of them set for 3 yards, which is roughly where the gel is here at 10 feet. And then you'll have 10, 15, 25, and 50. So remember now, this stuff is saying 1308. I don't expect to see it through this at all just because of the barrel length. Now, I actually kind of do expect to see it through that Glock 20, believe it or not. Usually I'm looking for under, but if I'm remembering correctly, I could be wrong, but the previous calibers of this stuff that I've tested, they actually met or exceeded some of the velocities, if I'm remembering that correctly. But let's see what this stuff does. Again, 1308 is what it's saying on the box there. Ooh, really light. 1086. Yeah, this is some light stuff. 1105. Light recoiling big time. 1083. 1081. And 1080, very light recoil in there. Let's check out the average. All right, y'all, this stuff definitely ain't hitting on much. I didn't expect a whole lot. We got a 5-round average of 1,087 on that. We had an extreme spread of 25 and a standard deviation of 10.5. So pretty good as far as the consistency, but 1,087 with a 155 grain projectile. Come on now. Well, let's give it another chance to see what that G20 does. All right, let's see if this G20 will wake it up a little bit. Again, 1308 is what the box says. I might have to change my guess about this hitting that box velocity after seeing what that 29 did. Let's see what this one does. Yeah, that don't feel like no 10 mil. 1135. This is some weak sauce stuff. 1138. 1123. 1121. And 1111. This is some weak 10 mil right here. Let's check that average out. All right, it ain't looking a whole lot better right there. We got 1125 for a 5-round average, 27 extreme spread, and a 10.9 standard deviation. So again, the consistency's pretty good on it, but 1125 from the G20, y'all, 155 grain projectile. Ain't no way that you can call that good 10 mil. There just ain't no way. So 1125 on this one. If you remember on that 29, it was 1,087. So you're talking about only, what is that, 38 feet per second difference between those. So not much of a difference. I mean, that's almost the same as the extreme spread, a little bit more, but not that much difference. As far as what these are going to do in the gel, I mean, at the beginning of this, I felt like this was pretty much foolproof being 10 mil velocity, but at these velocities, I mean, we could see some inconsistent stuff again. I still think they're going to do pretty well, but let's get this stuff set up and y'all know what time it is. All right, y'all, it's MHP for you, not me, jelly time. I'm gonna put 1 round through each barrel length into the gel, starting with this G29. I'm a little high. I don't know what to think on this one. I think they're still going to do well. Like I said, I think they're going to get some nice expansion if they don't tumble around and get uneven like they do. But the penetration, I think, is going to suffer if they expand good. Let's see what happens. I hope that didn't come out. That should have been a good one. Let's go see what I got. All right, y'all, these things looking weird down there as usual. Let's see what this G20 does. That thing did a crazy curve, so it messed up where I was gonna put this. Hopefully this one don't curve over into it. All right, I think that should be a good one, or it went almost exactly right beside it. Let me go see what I got. All right, let's check this stuff out down here, y'all. That second one definitely went lower than I wanted it to. I wanted to put it up in here, but it's right beside this other one. It is completely independent. The tracks are all the way through. They're just really, really close together. This one curving down, that was from the G29. The main part of that's actually behind this other one from the G20, but you can see they look pretty much identical. Big expansion on them, nice disruption, and then it's unpredictable after that. That's why this thing curved down. I think what's going on here with these after testing so many of them is when they hit whatever they're hitting, if they don't immediately expand and do it very, very evenly, then it gets thrown off of balance. You know, if one of them starts to expand and the other ones don't, it gets that thing out of balance and then you're going any which way. Now, in this case, it doesn't look like it hurt it too bad, but I've seen other cases where it just barely opened up any of the other pedals just because it tumbled way, way too soon. So anyway, that's what you got there from the G29. It just kind of got off of balance somewhere around in here and then started curving down and just barely touched the bottom down there. And then on the G20, that just kind of further reinforces what I'm thinking here. That one stayed a whole lot straighter and it's expanded a whole lot more and a lot more evenly, so it didn't get thrown off of balance like this one did. So as you can see, it came in, expanded immediately. Again, nice disruption, and then it got out here a little more penetration than I expected. Looks like we might be out here around 13, 14 inches on that one. But let's check and see what we did get. The one from the G29 there, that one didn't do too great. It's actually at 12¼ inches right there on the bottom. Now, it might have got another 1/4 inch, but you'd still be curving down, so you probably wouldn't have. This one here from the G20, it's at just barely touching the 14-inch mark. So actually nice penetration from that one there from the G20. And then up close here again, it's very, very tricky to see, but basically the straight one in the front, that's the G20. As you can see, carries on through here. Really, really nice expansion. I'll show you from above here in a second. But the one behind it, that's the G29. You can't really pick it up until right about here. Curves down, and there you can see that one plainly not nearly as much expansion and not nearly as symmetrical as that other one from the G20. And then from above here at this angle, the bottom is the G20, the top is the 29. As you can see, completely independent, kind of curves over the other one there. And then from above, you can really see the nice expansion from that G20 versus the one from the 29 below. All right, let's check out these projectiles, y'all. No really surprise here that they definitely look impressive. All of these copper expanding rounds really look impressive when they expand like they're supposed to. This one right here was from the G20. This one was from the 29. I'm sure you can plainly see the difference here, what I was talking about. This G20, you can see those pedals, and some of them even started folding back even further out than 90 degrees. And you look at these here from the 29, a few of those didn't even make it to 90 degrees. And that's what causes these things to be so inconsistent. If they don't open up evenly and they start opening unevenly too soon, it just throws them way off of balance. And now that's not to say that this isn't more than adequate expansion, but that's the reason you get such weird inconsistencies with this stuff. So let's measure them up and see what we got. As far as the weight, they started at 155. I don't expect any loss on either one. The G29 is 154.8, so nothing lost there. This one from the G20 is 155.1, so absolutely nothing lost from either one of those. And then as far as your sizes, they're probably going to be very similar, with this one maybe being a hair smaller. You got 919 and 884, so absolute massive expansion there. And then this one here from the G20, you got 958 and 955, so again, just massive expansion from both of those. And there you have it, y'all, the Norma Monolithic Hollow Point in 10 millimeter. Pretty much what I expected to see here. We did get a little more penetration than I was expecting to see. I figured with this massive expansion, it would slow them down a whole lot more, create more drag, but good penetration from them, good expansion from both of them, although a little bit of inconsistency there. Not really meaning much because this is 10 mil, it kind of powered on through it. The biggest issue for me, no surprise here, is the absolutely low energy and velocity out of this stuff for a 10 mil. For a 155 grain projectile, there is no reason this stuff should be moving this slow. All right, y'all, that's a wrap for another 10 mil light video. Nothing really surprising here. I was expecting it to hit those box velocities, which it didn't do, and it did get a little bit more penetration than I expected, but pretty much the same old story with these MHPs. Just the consistency is just weird out of these things as far as what they do in the gel. Now, with these, that ain't so much a problem for me. The big problem with these being 10 mil is how weak they are. These things are pitifully weak for 10 mil. And I know people are gonna say, well, they're only 10 bucks right now, 10 bucks a box, but you can get that AAC 180 for pretty much the same. You're talking about 50 of these for 25 bucks. The AAC's right there, 25, 26 bucks, and that's a heck of a lot better round, in my opinion, than these things are. Long story short, these would more than likely get the job done as usual, as long as you did your job, but for 10 mil, I personally think they're absolutely pathetic. But let me know what y'all think about it down in the comments. Any of y'all out there got some of these? Do you actually carry them? I know some people's got some because of what they're going for right now. People are picking them up, but again, you got to think about that. If you're going by 50 rounds, you're right there at 25 bucks. You can get something as good or better, in my opinion, for right at the same amount. But let me know down in the comment what y'all's thoughts are on it. If you enjoyed the video, reach down and hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and make sure you turn on your notifications so you get notified when I upload new stuff. Check out those affiliate links in the video description. If you're doing some shopping, hit up those links first, and anything you buy after going through those, I get a kickback from them towards the channel, so I really do appreciate that. Once again, a big thanks to all my Range Gang members and every single one of y'all for supporting the channel. I've got a couple more things planned for out here today, but I'm probably gonna knock it down to one more because I don't know if y'all can tell, the clouds have already rolled in, so I'm racing the clock out here trying to get this stuff done before the temperature drops too low. I've got a lot of good stuff headed y'all's way though, so stay on the lookout for that. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay prepared, and I'll see you soon.